Keshav Nanda Bharti, the Shir, who was the leader petitioner in the case which resulted in the Supreme Court evolving the basic structure doctrine, passed away today morning, reported the Malayalam daily Martharbhumi. He passed away today morning in his ashram at Idanir in Kasargod district of Kerala. He was aged 79 years. Keshavananda Bharati filed the case challenging the land reforms of Kerala, enacted with the aim of distributing land to the landless tillers. He also challenged the 29th Constitutional Amendment, which included the Kerala Land Reforms Act 1963 in the ninth schedule of the Constitution, immunizing it from a challenge on the ground of violation of fundamental rights. The case ultimately led to the evolution of the basic structure doctrine. After a marathon of hearings 68 days before a 13-judge bench, legendary lawyer Nani Palkiwala appeared for Bharti. Though the verdict did not result in individual relief to Bharti, it led to formulation of an important constitutional doctrine, limiting the amending powers of Parliament. It was on April 24, 1973 that the Supreme Court delivered the verdict, a thin majority of 7:6 out of 13 judge bench. Now, identification of parties. Here the petitioners were Keshavananda Bharti and others, while the respondents were the state of Kerala. Now let's go to the summary of the facts. Keshavananda Bharti was the chief of the Edanar Mutt, which is a religious sect in Kasargod district of Kerala, as earlier said. Keshavananda Bharti had certain pieces of land in the sect which were owned by him in his name. The state government of Kerala introduced the Land Reforms Amendment Act 1969. According to the act, the government was entitled to acquire some of the sect's land for which Keshavananda Bharti was the chief. On 21st March 1970, Keshavananda Bharti moved to Supreme Court under Section 32 of the Indian Constitution for enforcement of his right, which guaranteed under Article 25 right to practice and propagate religion, Article 26 right to manage religious affairs, Article 14 that is right to equality, Article 19 Clause 1 Subclause F that is freedom to acquire property, Article 31 compulsory acquisition of property. When the petitioner was still under consideration by the court, the Kerala government, another act was formed, that is the Kerala Land Reforms Amendment Act 1971. After the landmark case of Golaknath vs. State of Punjab, the Parliament passed a series of amendments in order to overrule the judgment of the Golaknath case. In 1971, the 24th Amendment Act was passed. In 1972, 25th and 29th Amendment were passed subsequently. The following amendments were made after Golaknath's case, which were challenged in the present case. Now, let's move to the issues which were before the court. The first issue was whether the 24th Constitutional Amendment Act 1971 is constitutionally valid or not. Number 2, whether the 25th Constitutional Amendment Act 1972 is constitutionally valid or not, and the extent to which the Parliament can exercise its power to amend the Constitution. Now, the contention of parties on issues. The first were the petitioner's contention. It was contended by the petitioner that the Parliament cannot amend the Constitution in a way they want, so as they have a limited power to do so. The Parliament cannot exercise its power to amend the Constitution by changing its basic structure, as the same was propounded by Justice Madhukar in the case of Sajjan Singh vs. State of Rajasthan. The petitioner pleaded for the protection of his property under Article Clause 1 Subclause F of the Indian Constitution. It was argued by the petitioner that the 24th and 25th constitutional amendments violated the fundamental rights which was provided under Article 1, Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause F of the Indian Constitution. Fundamental rights are the rights available to citizens of India to ensure freedom, and if any constitutional amendment takes away such right, then the freedom which is ensured under the Constitution to its citizen will be deemed to be taken away for them. Now, moving to the respondent's contention. The respondent here was the state, and it contended that the supremacy of Parliament is the basic principle of the Indian legal system, and so the Parliament has the power to amend the Constitution unlimitedly. State also contended that in order to fulfill its socio-economic obligations which have been guaranteed to citizens of India under the preamble, it is important that Parliament exercises its power to amend the Constitution without any limitation. Now let's see the judgment. It was held by the Supreme Court by a majority of 7:6 that Parliament can amend any provision of the Constitution to fulfill its socio-economic obligations guaranteed to citizens under the preamble, subject to the condition that such amendment won't change the basic structure of Indian Constitution. The majority decision was delivered by S.M. Sikri, the Chief Justice of India as then, K.S. Hedge, B.K. Mukherjee, J.M. Sheelath, A.N. Grover, P. Jagmohan Reddy, and Khanna, Justice Khanna. Whereas the minority opinions were written by A.N. Ray, D.G. Palelkar, K.K. Mathew, M.H. Beg, S.N. Dwivedi, and Y.V. Chandrachud. The majority bench wrote different opinions but was still reluctant to give unfettered authority to the Parliament. The landmark case was decided on 24th April 1973. The court upheld that the 24th constitutional amendment entirely, but after the first and the second amendment, it cannot be a part of the 25th Constitutional Amendment Act and was found to be intra-vires and ultra-vires respectively. It was also observed that in relation to the powers of the Parliament to amend the Constitution, that it was a question that was left unanswered in the Golaknath's case. The answer to the question was found in the present case, and it was deduced by the court that Parliament has the power to amend the Constitution to the extent that such amendment does not change the basic structure of Indian Constitution. It was laid down by the court that the doctrine of basic structure is to be followed by the Parliament while amending the provisions of the Constitution. Now let's see what the doctrine of basic structure formulates. According to the doctrine, the Parliament has unlimited power to amend the Constitution, subject to the sole condition that such amendments must not change the basic structure of Constitution. The Parliament should not in any manner interfere with the basic structure of the Constitution, without which our Constitution will be left spiritless and lose its very essence. The basic structure of the Constitution was not mentioned by the bench and was left to interpretation of the courts. The courts need to see and interpret if a particular amendment violates the basic structure of our Constitution or not. The court found that, as contended by the respondents, actually there is a difference between ordinary law and amendment. Keshav Nanda Bharati's case to some extent overruled Golaknath's case. In this case, answered the question which was left unanswered in the Golaknath's case in relation to the power of Parliament to amend the provisions of the Constitution. The court found that the word amend, which was included in Article 368, does not refer to amendments that can change the basic structure of the Constitution. If Parliament wants to amend a particular provision of the Constitution, then such amendment would need to go through the test of basic structure. It was also decided that since the Parliament has an unlimited power to amend the Constitution subject to basic structure, then Parliament can also amend fundamental rights as far as they are not included in the basic structure of the Constitution. Therefore, 24th Amendment Act was upheld by the bench, whereas 24th Amendment's second part was struck down. The 25th Amendment's validation was subjected to two conditions here, and these are: the courts agreed that the word amount and compensation is not equivalent to each other, but still the amount which is provided by the government to landlords should not be unreasonable. The amount need not be equal to the market value, but should be reasonable and closely related to the present market value. The first part of the 25th Amendment was upheld, but it was subject to the provision that the prohibition of judiciary's reach will be struck down. So this was all about the Keshav Nanda Bharati case and his contribution. We will always remember his contribution. Thank you for watching my video. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel.